Our guest, Karen Terrey, brings a vibrant voice and a deep well of creativity to the role of Nevada County's Poet Laureate. An accomplished poet, educator, and literary advocate, Karen is known for weaving landscapes, personal narrative, and cultural reflection into poetry that resonates with clarity and power. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you very much,
It's
Lynn.
lovely to have you, and congratulations. What an honor.
Thank you. I'm really honored to be here.
So you are going to have a busy year, I think, correct?
Yes.
And your role started in February, or you were appointed in February, awarded in February, and now currently there is a poetry week and a lot of events going on. Can you talk a little bit about how you got this award and what your responsibilities will be?
Sure. I have been a teacher and a poet, and I live in Truckee. I started in 2008 when I got my MFA in creative writing. Founded my business, Tangled Roots Writing, started teaching at various colleges around the lake, and since then my mission has been to build literary community, right? And so this just has built over the years, and being Poet Laureate, I'm the fourth for our county so far. We started with Molly Fisk, then we had Chris Olander, Kirsten Casey, and I'm the fourth, and I'm really excited to follow in their footsteps.
Very exciting. So poetry is a sort of activism in a way, isn't it?
It is.
I didn't know that in first grade when I was asked to stand up and give make up a poem on the spot for the literary magazine. I don't know why I raised my hand. I was famous in first grade at Our Lady of Mercy School. But so I've been interested in poetry ever since. So
that's great.
And it's quite a unique form of literary because it's music. The lyrics are poems and so on. Talk about how you were.
Yeah. So
involved.
I think what's interesting about literary arts and poetry is that it starts with the body, right? So it is voice and breath. And so, of course, in the creative process, there's writing, but the performance of that does really feed upon having an audience to listen to it, right? And so the language is part of your body. You breathe it out, and then people listen and hear that. And so I think it really is, especially for myself right now, the way the world is, it is a venue for agency, right? And for that voice, that you can say something that matters, right? And touch people's hearts.
And when you write, do you actually physically, when you're writing a poem, do you physically act it out and test yourself along the way?
Oftentimes, I'm just constantly reading it out loud to myself as I'm writing, and especially in revision.
Right, and record yourself and listen back?
I don't do that as much.
Okay.
No. But I do really enjoy open mics and performing, and that's a great way to test some new work, right? So, and also open mics are great deadlines.
Yes.
To be working on new work, to push yourself, share it with an audience, and you can hear their reaction.
Well, the way we get to hear you, I'm glad you brought along some of your work. I'm hoping you can read a poem for us. But I want to make sure I get the dates here so we don't miss you out here in Nevada County. So you're going to be at, I know there's an ongoing number of events going on right now. Where can one go to look at a compilation? Is there one spot?
Yes, so I have a website. It's called Tangled Roots Writing.
Okay.
People can go there. There's an update of events. The Sierra Poetry Festival is this Saturday at Grass Valley at the Center for the Arts. And that's an all-day event with poets, readings, workshops. And it's even for people who aren't poets. There is music and movement involved in some of the workshops. And it's really a place for, even if you're just a reader, readers are just as important as writers.
Right.
So this is a place to go and be inspired. And then this Thursday night at the Iron Door in Nevada City is actually an open mic. And the top 3 performers at this open mic will be invited to perform at the Sierra Poetry Festival.
Fantastic. I love that when I read up a little bit about you, that you consider yourself a literary citizen. That's
literary citizen. Being a literary citizen is about supporting everyone around you, in the arts. And that started when I was getting my MFA at Goddard. I had a group of writers that we kind of created a posse, and we felt that any of our successes felt like the group's success. Right. And then it goes from there. Supporting other writers and artists, going to their events, buying their books.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we would be so honored if you would read one of your poems for us.
Super. Thank you. Thanks. So this is from my book, Bite and Blood, and it's called Crossing the River. A lot of my poems come from nature. They come from my experience with animals and the relationships that we have between animals and our environment and humans. And this was something that I observed in Truckee in the middle of the coldest part of winter. It's called Crossing the River. After a record-breaking night, slush flowed on top the river's royal, like dirt specks floating across an eyeball, tricking us into thinking something close is far away. Ice vellum-wrapped rocks along the shoreline, and air bubbles milled beneath like trapped field mice. As close as it gets to freezing over, each frosted branch encased with eager light. A buck panted on 3 legs by the black water line, and 2 fat coyotes sat nearby, eyeing chickadees hopping along red willow bobbins. Maybe he was resting after a slow night of quiet stalking by coyotes trailing just close enough so he couldn't stop stumbling through the frozen forest. It was beautiful how the gold of the sun, the gold of the coyotes' manes grew thick in the sun like a resolution. The buck's broken leg bent beneath his chest, silent breath clouds. Then, like a branch cracking beneath storm's weight, he rocked across the icy river, up a low bank, across rusted railroad tracks, the heavy rack dipping and rising. Standing, the coyotes watched as if they had just noticed the mule deer, then trotted along the edge. It was beautiful how the buck kept going, how he didn't.